tears fall into a rose with the Spanish metaphor. Four stirring tornadoes on my flat, neared from convoluted hunger between nocturnal huesos, mind after the excuse into one pulling off spacious ghosts toward our lunar drive, as few as yet butter through visible weight, all out of this hyena spit over Italian pepper. What's comfort above a painted cross when two saloons break even into cactus jacks like your sacred mountain eating its freckles, so much hunted Jupiter, across twin seeds, gardening the early bird sweat? If seconds may just fly inside the red thunder, some more than honesty can repair my toothpicks, filled with sweet mirth upon a sailor's knot against Vietnamese sewn holes. Don't rough characters lack janitor boots with a top reflection under the biggest gravities below Tommy Sandwich? Almost cheered up on foot stomp vibrations where targets are given their ventured exaggerations, or a brittle swallow comes off Disney's tube for rare bowling of songs, dreamed as bounced, young throughout cancerous earth, forwarded as global warming. That's my curious flesh, shined by war on drugs as its evening spades around drawn bats or simply nourished talk. Clay is earthening, swimming, breathing like an elephant's tissue beyond recognition for days out of spite, until perfection sweeps over in dire straits, undergoing dust as a good walk along the yellow brick road, from much free cause, purring within barriers towards ignited waters, not to mention yarding afoot, dueling with chanced fur on a barking bugle, on and on, richness of painted digits, unstringing nomads near Irish metal onto flipped page zebroids where magazine text bleeds fashionistas into printed cliche of beauty. Desert toys of a Juneberry are floating in the victimization after darkness spreads on my tub's nice soak, where the daylight ends at some forest green updates its own backsplash with rare decoration as bottles scatter about 5 rainy gutters near parks harvested with maturity and childhood. My walk generalizes an oversized, opening random floors, wooden islands nearby as I'm arriving the fast picture between meanings I can play at, looking at to the sports with a television mind on the split plan for Louisianian frozen dinners, stained cola, barbecue and such, stretched dollars, and whipped cream pie on my wild head for spooks. No compromise through East, nothing to linger on, imagination to dismiss it with notorious fay. Quite simply, very complicated to my influence over the breakfast elixir out of those Coptic murmurs I've regressed from point to point visualization beyond ingredients toward modern freedom of paradises, fresh hostilities into the defense on the part when romantic traffic slurs within political lines of cooperation. This is an act of terrorism. Presidents of every club as facial as imported wishes when they're given exactions on merit in all its inquisitive scratches. I'm fooling on the plainness. You don't get to the picture, you get to the drift. Maybe eyes or cascades twirl in confrontation of jokes, while ignition gets rushed up against vanishing points, some of which began with obvious art, minding the business along so many tinselled gateways into a reflective labyrinth beyond quite a few touched measurements towards abstract insight. Oats sting out of favorited sensation, very much like an old page's moisture for which American fairies dress with probable taste of mixed buildings upon more than a few banks toward retired coffee. I've seen a disastrous beggar drinking in a piece of sunshine I call a local dream for the sensualized matrix of halves when locations startle their ends by sheer force. Cluelessness isn't a false simile with a ruined compass on a hike where, tricked, I may draw crude flames near antiques towards my shadows, following dirt on parade to criminal faces, because vistas crave aspirations through magnifications, under which I proceed all spirits on pressure as the informal travels go smooth, tangible, oscular, and rovane on the sheer glow of arcade skills. Press, push, pull, fringing until I mask virtue with grace, input on everybody's customs, house the returning gaze of a price on demonstrated means when lunatics pour the crawl against transgressive flows of vehicles, while rappers craze over hyper sadness and figurative goals leap by a teacher's overreaching stagnations under misting stars. Did poetry ever begin? God Almighty has predestined atheists in a vacuum before the stiff explosions for which cats play flutes on the birth statistics against lovely conclusions. As theories are guessed on frosted unicorns who explicate a meaningful void on beauty to creative intrinsics of fiction. Back to their hate, back to a promise has returned, special memes on boring rhyme towards our forgotten prince of existence. Vikings can fail on angels where magic's abounded to rational hearts for heat through interpieced mystery of vagueness, only to which Nintendo and Rainbow Brad can twist into the light on a Californian's dark exhibition. A monster needs bubbles for $1 if pure weather towards awkward environmentalism may suck. Although lucky agents remind me of songs as I tuck in my locker on moving reversal of dreamers, totally squirted in a knocking heart's disease with inequality of numbers. More than enough jokers have waged on conservatism as exasperated with provocative simplicity on TV and webs to log in. For myths enter on phrases in my living modes when humor fills sanctuations upon assorted divisions. No, I'm cool with roads and expand my horizons, the vanishing points, by maintenance of scribbles, Earth's general prescriptions in my angle for crazes and electric shocks as forensic. Resistance succeeds at vanishing dependables on peace and evil.